chocolate. Is there room for one more here? Are you all ready to hang out? Yes, you are. This is fine, right? I need a cushion. You all comfy with all your cushions? Me too. What do you want to talk about today? About how I was 10 minutes late giving you your breakfast? Yes, that was a catastrophe, wasn't it? I'm so sorry. Hello, best friends, and welcome back to our safe, cozy little space of the big wide internet. I am so pleased to see you, and I hope life is just peachy keen, Avril Lavigne. Welcome back once again to Come Scroll With Me, the show where everything is made up and the points don't matter. Just kidding, the points totally matter. If you are new here, then hi, my name is Liz, and this is Lily. Make no mistake, she is the main character. Right? Yeah. Yes, you're the main character. The idea, of course, behind us all being here together today is that rather than us all scrolling through our phones separately or lonely, we are putting the social back into social media and scrolling together. And then we meet up in the comments below and talk about all our scrolling adventures. It's a blast. Today, we are headed back to r/Am I the Asshole? I know we were just here, but what can I say? I live for the drama. For those of you who are unfamiliar, Am I the Asshole is a subreddit where people turn to strangers on the internet, give them their side of a scenario, and ask the internet strangers, am I the asshole? And then the internet strangers vote. I will pop up the voting system just here. It's pretty straightforward, and I got to admit, it's pretty fun because in day-to-day life, honestly, I'm not down for just judging anyone because who are any of us to judge? But in this specific context, these people are asking us to judge them. So really, we're just doing them a solid, right? And with all of that said, let's jump into our first post. We have, am I the asshole for making my nephew clean up after himself? My nephew turned 18 this week and wanted a party with just him and his friends. He didn't want it at his house because he said his dad/my brother is super controlling. I said he could have it at my place since I will be out of town. My expectation was that my house was to be left in the same condition as I left it. Okay, so either OP has found some magical way to defy nature and skip being 18 themselves, or more likely they have amnesia and have forgotten what being 18 is like. Maybe they just have a really high opinion of their nephew, but judging by the title, I feel like that opinion is about to change. I came home this morning and my house was up. I mean, who could have possibly predicted that outcome, right? Dishes all over the place, trash, and my bathrobe was missing. My nephew had already gone home, so I drove to my brother's. I let myself in, went into my nephew's room, woke him up, and told him to go clean my house now. He said he did, and I said, if you don't get up and clean my house, so help me God. As he was getting dressed, my brother asked what was going on. I told him it's being taken care of. He said I can't just barge into his house like that and wake people up. I said, given the circumstances, I do. So Reddit voted not the asshole on this one, but if I'm honest, I have to very softly disagree here. I don't think OP was the asshole for making him clean up after himself, but I do feel like he was a little bit of an asshole for letting an 18-year-old throw a party completely unsupervised in his house while he was out of town and expecting there to be zero fallout from this house party. And to be honest, it sounds like OP got off pretty lucky as well. I don't know if anyone has seen Project X, but for there to just to have been some dishes and some trash, I mean, it sucks about the bathrobe thing, but things could have gone so much worse. And also if, and I'm not going to assume because you haven't actually specified, so I will say if your reason for storming into your brother's home unannounced and dragging your nephew out of bed and offering no explanation as to why or where you were going, if the reason you did all that was because you went behind your brother's back and didn't let him know that you were letting your nephew throw this party unsupervised at your house while you were out of town, I feel like that makes you even more of an asshole. And I have to disagree with Reddit even more. And I feel like having your house, what sounds like slightly trashed for trying to be the cool uncle and lying by omission to your brother, was kind of your comeuppance and you should just take it on the chin. There is a couple of edits. My nephew gave me his word he would leave my house in the same condition as I left it. And also my nephew was never going to say no when I told him to get up and go clean my house. He's 5'8" and like 155 pounds and I'm 6'4", 245 pounds. Honestly, these edits just make me even more sure that you were the asshole here, OP. I'm sorry, not sorry. Moving on though, am I the asshole for embarrassing my cousin and getting us kicked out of a restaurant? Okay, so OP is a 25-year-old female and she says, I don't have kids yet. I never really wanted them growing up, but I figure I'll have kids in the future once I get my life together. My cousin, Sarah, who is 29, has 2 bad behaved kids from a previous relationship and a newborn baby with her boyfriend, MJ, who is 40. Last night, my mother, sister, Sarah, and I went to a sushi restaurant, and this was my very first time having sushi. OP, you're 25 and this is your first time having sushi? You have been seriously missing out. After we ordered, I had a hard time using the chopsticks. My cousin started obnoxiously laughing. The waiter came over and asked me if I wanted training wheels, which is a little plastic item that attaches to the chopsticks and helps you hold them in place. My cousin laughed and said, sorry about her. She constantly embarrasses herself and us. Wow, that's rude. I just gave her the side eye and put the training wheels on. When it was time to order desserts, her boyfriend MJ finally joined us, claiming he was busy. She went on to tell him how stupid and slow I was for not knowing how to use chopsticks and how the waiters and everyone around now know I'm an embarrassment. My mum asked her what her problem was, and she goes on a rant about how I'm so embarrassing, and it's no wonder I'm jealous of her for being a mother and no one wants to have kids with me. I finally had enough. I said, I don't have kids because I don't want them to come out like your rude pieces of shit. And you're calling me an embarrassment? Didn't MJ just have a baby on you with his wife? Your baby literally has a sibling a week apart from her. You probably learned how to use chopsticks by eating his wife's leftovers. What on earth is going on? I am gobsmacked. I guess when she was attacking me, it was fine because everyone turned on me. It got so loud that management had to get involved. Sarah was screaming and crying, MJ was yelling at me, and my mum and sister were berating me for being mean. Management brought the bill and told us to please pay it and leave. Yeah, I bet they did. They're just trying to get through dinner service, and here you guys are throwing your own impromptu Jerry Springer episode in the middle of the restaurant. My mum paid the entire bill, but my sister said I'm an asshole for embarrassing Sarah and getting us kicked out, and how she's probably going through postpartum depression. Now, I don't know if I went too far, seeing as she's probably going through some post-baby stress. Am I the asshole? So that was a roller coaster, and I am still processing everything, but just straight off the bat, postpartum depression and post-baby stress. I mean, it's rough and it definitely takes a toll on your behavior and your outlook, but it's certainly not a license to be mean and rude. But Reddit voted not the asshole in this one. And again, I'm going to have to very respectfully disagree just a little bit. So there is this sign in my son's classroom, right? And he's in year 1, so it's meant for children, but I feel like it's also good life advice for adults. Like I've honestly used it on my husband a couple of times. And this sign basically says, does the size of your reaction match the size of the problem? And there's pictures for the kids of like big problem, medium problem, small problem. And so let's say Sarah, the cousin, is the problem. And she came in around here. I do personally feel that OP's reaction to the problem maybe came in around here. I mean, it goes without saying, obviously, Sarah's behavior was rude and uncalled for. And all I know about OP and Sarah's relationship is the information given in this post. There might be a whole long history of Sarah being Sarah. But in my opinion, and it might be an unpopular opinion, but you're going to come across people like Sarah in everyday life. And sometimes you just got to try your best to take the high road and do your best to just let it roll off your back so that you don't end up getting kicked out of sushi restaurants, you know? There is quite a large update. Thank you all for the overwhelming responses. I've been wanting to put Sarah in her place for a while now, and I'm glad I did. However, Sarah's mum got involved and is mad at me. Apparently, MJ told Sarah that him and his wife were separating. Sarah found out that he lied because she was secretly stalking his wife's Facebook page and got the shock of her life when wifey posted a newborn baby and MJ was there for the birth. How did this get even crazier? Sarah did the math and realized he got both of them pregnant the week of his birthday. She confronted him and he confirmed it. He also said that she'll have to get over it or he'll leave. So she stayed and is now constantly in shambles. Not my problem. Like, yeah, technically you're right. Now, on to the problem. She kept the baby a secret and only told her mum, who told my mum, who told my sister and I. So they said they were pissed because I wasn't supposed to repeat it, but I didn't know it was classified information. Snap. So you knew all of this before the sushi dinner. Jeez Louise, you really went for the jugular. After like a week, that's all everyone talked about. Sarah's mum, my aunt, reached out to me this morning and she said that Sarah's problem with me is that I always said I don't like kids and only a horrible person won't like kids, and that I was mean to her about her kids 2 months ago. 2 months ago, she wanted to go to a party with MJ and asked me to watch her kids, all 3 of them for free. I told her no because they're untrained, I don't feel comfortable watching a newborn, and she'll have to pay me to put up with the other 2. So I guess that's why she's still holding grudges. Regardless, Sarah's mum said she was having a really hard time after finding out about the outside baby, who technically is the inside baby, as Sarah's baby is the outside baby, but whatever. OP, that is savage. Has anyone checked if Sarah needs some ice for that burn? And she wants me to apologize for putting her business out there for everyone. She got my mum and sister involved, so I just called Sarah and apologized. She said, I don't care what you have to say, and hung up. Regardless, I held out my end of the bargain. Hopefully this gets blown over soon because your girl is tired. Girl, I am tired from reading this post. That was intense. So I honestly don't know how I'm going to recover and get through the rest of this video. I think I've said my piece though, and just going by this post, my vote would be everyone sucks here. And that's about it. I gotta move on because this post is insane. Next we have, am I the asshole for telling my friend that his girlfriend's food is gross? I, 24-year-old male, spend a lot of time at my friend Jake's, 25-year-old male's house, gaming, watching movies and anime, or just being chill. About 6 months ago, Jake started dating Danny, 27 or 28-year-old female, and she started spending most of her time at his place as well, and she basically moved in. So I see her almost every time I hang out with Jake. Okay, Danny is fine. She always seems nice enough, but there is one thing that just bothers me about her, and that's her food. In the few months I've known her, I've seen her eat some of the most bizarre and gross-looking foods. Examples. 1. She ate a bowl of crackers, like regular big square ones with milk, like it was cereal. 2. A sandwich that was just butter and sugar. I've actually got to give Danny this one because I went through a stage in high school where toast with just butter and sugar was just chef's kiss, and I ate it every single day for like a year. 3. Strawberries and milk on top of biscuits, like the American ones, and way more examples that I didn't put here. Usually I just ignore it, but today she made something I just couldn't ignore. She put pimento cheese spread on a hot dog bun and ate it with Laoganma. I'm probably butchering that, but apparently it's an oil with chilies. I wanted to gag when I saw it. I don't know, bread, cheese, and chili sounds like a pretty reasonable combination to me. I told Jake when I sat back down what she was eating, and he just looked over to the kitchen and back at me and just shrugged. Well, yeah, OP. Danny's a grown woman. She lives there. She can eat what she wants. I told him, why does Danny always eat the weirdest shit? Jake rolled his eyes and told me she could eat what she wanted. And that's when I told him it was weird. She always seemed to eat the grossest imaginable. Anyway, After that, he got mad and told me I should go home. And I did, but on my drive back, he started texting me saying I was disrespectful to his girlfriend and he didn't think I should come over to hang out until I apologized. I honestly don't think I did anything wrong, and it's not like I told Danny herself I thought her food was gross. So this one is pretty simple. OP, you are 24 years old, and that is too old to be having opinions on what other people eat in their own house, let alone voicing those opinions. It shouldn't really be any surprise that Reddit voted you're the asshole in this one, and I 120% agree. Next, we have, am I the asshole for telling my daughter I'm disappointed in her? Hello all. It's been rough with my only daughter as of late. My husband and I, both of us are 55, have one daughter, 30-year-old female. We have been married coming up on 32 years soon. My daughter was in a long relationship and married for approximately 9 years, and for a long time, I thought it was a good relationship when out of nowhere, around 3 years ago, she decided to divorce her ex-husband. We were told it was a mutual decision, but that ultimately he wasn't the greatest partner and there were many things that she was not satisfied with in their relationship, so she wanted to leave. We supported her decision. So far, so good, I guess, but I do feel like I'm on tenterhooks. Like, where is this all going to go downhill? About a year after the divorce, she introduced us to her new boyfriend. And while my husband and I thought it may be a bit early to date, we decided to continue to support her and meet him. He was and is a very charming man who treats our daughter wonderfully, and you can tell she is extremely happy. Sounds fantastic. I'm happy for her. Here we go. Now to the argument. Recently, we were talking with one of our daughter's friends who is visiting our town, and we're discussing our daughter's job and her wonderful boyfriend. Her friend in the conversation made a comment about how they were lucky to be in the same orientation together when they started work. As soon as she saw our confused faces, she gave us the full story as she realized we hadn't been given it. Our daughter had told us while her and her boyfriend worked for the same employer, they didn't meet until after the divorce. We pressed the friend for more information and she begrudgingly told us that our daughter and her boyfriend had met during orientation at work while our daughter was going through her marital issues. This led to them becoming closer and her filing for divorce from her ex-husband about a year later. So later that day, I asked to have a conversation with my daughter and brought up what her friend had told us. She turned white as snow and basically confirmed her friend's story, but reiterated there was no physical cheating. OP, I feel like the fact that your daughter turned white as snow when you confronted her says more about you than it does her. I told her that physical cheating was not the only way that you could hurt someone, and that it appeared she had emotionally cheated on her ex-husband. He may not have been the greatest person, but it didn't excuse her actions. I told her that I was disappointed in her, and while I supported her leaving a bad marriage, that I couldn't look at her and her boyfriend in this new light in regards to cheating. I still love her and will treat her boyfriend with respect, but it is definitely something I have a hard time looking past. She got angry at me for not continuing to support her in her journey beyond divorce. Am I the asshole? Yeah, so sorry, OP. Reddit voted that you are the asshole, and I definitely have to agree. This is another one that's a little bit more serious, and it seems like there's a lot of other factors at play. And so reminding myself I only know as much information as what you've given us in this post, it doesn't seem like that much of a mystery that your daughter wanted to hide this information from you, based on your reaction when you found out. It seems like you've made so many assumptions just based off this one piece of information. You don't even know if there was an emotional affair, and yet you've just charged straight on ahead and outright accused her. I also didn't miss that you took the time to point out that you and your husband have been married for nearly 32 years, and honestly, congratulations, loving that for you. But your experience in marriage is not your daughter's experience in marriage. It's not anyone's experience in marriage. Every marriage is different. And it seems like you think that being married for that length of time gives you some kind of prerogative to dish out judgment on other marriages. Bottom line, your daughter was in an unhappy marriage and it ended, and she's now happy in a relationship with what sounds like a wonderful guy, and you should be happy for her, and maybe do some introspection on why your daughter felt the need to lie to you in the first place, because that doesn't seem to have concerned you at all. But if it were I in your situation, that is what would concern me the most. Moving on, we have, am I the asshole to ask my husband to split the household chores equally? My husband and I have been married for 5 years. Initially, we divided the household chores equally, but lately, I feel I'm doing a lot more, and he is not helping out as much as he used to. We both work 8 to 5 jobs, and my salary is X while my husband's is 6X. We split our expenses in a way that I contribute 1/3 of the house mortgage, which is 1/3 of my salary, and he contributes 2/3. So admittedly, mathematics is not my strong suit, and you've even triggered me a little bit with the algebra, like the X versus 6X. So I might be wrong, but just going by ratios, it seems like you're putting more of your pay towards the mortgage, right? If there's any mathematicians in the comments, please feel free to help me out, but it's like double the ratio, unless I'm completely wrong, right? He takes care of other expenses like Wi-Fi, electricity, and water bills, and I take care of the groceries and car mortgage. When we travel, he takes care of the flight and hotel expenses, and I take care of the rest. So it seems like everything else is pretty even, I guess. For the past few months, I have been preparing for an examination that would help me advance in my career. Both of us are equally tired after work. Previously, he used to help with the prep work and cleaning when we made meals. However, lately, I feel I am the only one taking care of household chores like cooking, cleaning the house, and doing laundry. He always seems to have some random excuse to avoid doing them, such as needing to review files for his next day's meeting or being too tired. Honestly, I am exhausted. After 8 hours at work, a 1.5-hour commute, cooking, and studying, I hardly have any time left to sleep. Yeah, I'm exhausted for you just reading this. I talked to my husband about this, but he said he contributes more financially and shouldn't have to do as much housework. That makes 0 sense. He suggested swapping roles, which would mean I take care of all the extra finances. However, I feel this is unfair because I don't make as much as he does. Am I the asshole to ask him to split the chores equally? No, OP, you are absolutely not the asshole. And Reddit agrees. They voted not the asshole. It doesn't matter that your husband makes more than you. You both work full-time jobs and have the exact same amount of free time and energy outside of those jobs to contribute to the household. And that has nothing to do with finances. And your husband has literally already proved this by using excuses like he needs to review files or he's too tired, because again, neither of those things have anything to do with finances. As many people have pointed out in the comments in this one, chores cost time, not money. And if your husband wants to make it about money, maybe he can just put his money where his mouth is and hire a professional cleaner. Moving on to our next and final post. Am I the asshole for standing up for myself on my wedding day? I need some perspective on a situation that happened at my wedding last weekend. It involves my husband's sister, Lisa, 31-year-old female. We have never been close because she is ultra-Christian and I'm an atheist, but things were never too bad between us until my wedding night. The ceremony went perfectly, but during the reception, my now sister-in-law kept making passive-aggressive comments to me about the wedding. She was complaining about the food, the music, the venue, and the decorations, and it was really starting to get under my skin. I bet it was. Who even does that? I tried to brush it off and focus on enjoying my special day. I figured she was just in a foul mood since she was recently divorced, but she just wouldn't stop. I even asked my husband to talk to her about it, but he said it wasn't a big deal and I was overreacting. Then, during our first dance, Lisa came up and grabbed the microphone from the DJ and started giving a speech about she and my husband used to be so close and how much she misses him and how much he's changed since meeting me, how lonely she is now. She was laying it on thick like she was mourning my husband or something. I was not even there and I'm so mortified on OP's behalf. I have to admit, at this point, I saw red. It was so inappropriate and disrespectful and felt like she was trying to make the wedding about her instead of us. I confronted her after the speech and told her she was being disrespectful and she needed to stop it. We got into a heated argument and it was really uncomfortable for everyone around us. Afterwards, she stormed off and we didn't really see her again for the rest of the night. Here's the point where I want to hope that the the reason the sister-in-law stormed off was she was so ashamed of her actions and came back humbly later asking for OP's forgiveness, but I don't think that's where this is headed. After the wedding, my husband's family was upset with me for causing drama, excuse me, and ruining the mood of the reception. They think I should have just let it go and not confronted Lisa about her behavior. I feel like I was justified in standing up for myself and my husband on our special day. The mood was already ruined with her awkward speech interrupting my husband and I's first dance together. My sister-in-law won't talk to me, and my mother-in-law has been repeatedly calling me and demanding I apologize. My husband has not really been helpful either. He hates any kind of conflict, especially with his mother. My own family is on my side. So, am I the asshole for causing drama with my sister-in-law at my wedding? Should I have just let it go and not said anything? OP, I am so sorry that this happened to you on your wedding day. This is just horrendous, and there are no surprises here. Reddit voted not the asshole. In my opinion, your sister-in-law, on the other hand, was absolutely the asshole. Even before she interrupted your first dance with her speech, I do not think you were overreacting like your husband accused you. I think you were being very accommodating and empathetic, being like, oh, this is about her, not me. I'm going to give her some grace. And you were a much bigger person than a lot of other people could have been in that situation. And the fact that you were able to restrain yourself and wait for your sister to finish her speech and then speak to her rather than storming the stage and like ripping the mic away from her. You know what? I actually disagree with Reddit on this one as well. I think everyone sucks here, bar you and your family who were at least on your side. Like, it blows my mind that your husband's family accused you of being the one that caused the drama. And I don't care how conflict averse your husband is, he definitely should have called his sister out on her behavior and stood up for you as well. And now that I'm all officially heated and mad, that is where we are going to leave off today, guys. I would love to hear your thoughts on these posts. Some of these I feel like I'm going to be recovering for like a few days personally after this. But I hope you guys enjoyed this hangout. As usual, if you have any suggestions about subreddits or apps or websites or threads that you'd like to scroll through together, then absolutely send them my way and I will add them to the list. And if you were still here and not already subscribed, then I would just love if you did that so that you, me, and Lily can be best friends forever. Right, Lily? Best friends forever? Yes. I think even Lily thought these posts were a bit intense because she just hid behind me this entire video. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week, and me and Lily will be counting down the hours until we see you in the next one. Bye.